Driving up to Kokomo. It is on a Saturday. Took some extra time off this week. Just be with family. I think I always try to balance that time at home and working. I don't know if it's exactly 40 hours. I mean, after the kids go to bed, I get in a couple, probably 2 more hours of social media time, and which to me is work, because I'm working on building a network and building a following and trying to gain more awareness for what we're doing. So today I'm going up to a church in order to go through some lay minister training. And I think that's important to be someone that can fill in for our pastor when he's gone, and know more about that. So I think that'll be good. I'm interested to see, who else is there, and whether I'm the youngest person there or not, which is often the case with things like this. I guess I can address that for a second. I mean, I've been blamed by a few people that I kind of latch onto old ideas. Not traditional ideas, but older ideas, like older, new ideas. So I latched onto William Glasser, who published his book in '98. I latched onto Deming, who published his work, I think, in the '80s, maybe. I latched onto Magda Gerber. I can't remember when she published her work, but she died. She passed away in 2012. And then, of course, there's the Bible. My generation, and definitely the generation behind me, is not coming to church in wide numbers. But it's important to me. I think there's a lot of things that the church is not understanding and practicing in faith. My faith has helped me see the need for caring for the poor and caring for people who are quote unquote lost, but not just lost. I mean, they're hurting, and not going out to simply convert them, but finding ways to help and help alleviate their pain. I've found myself drawn to people with depression quite a bit, because I see that in online interactions, people are just they're not very caring of those people. And I like to show up and be empathetic, and I like to listen, and I like to be there, and I like to make every effort to not come across like I'm trying to fix them, because they seem to get sick of that. So that's what I'm up to today. Not a very exciting day, but a day nonetheless, and I'm excited. I'm excited to live another day. And I guess I probably don't seem that excited, but as I'm thinking about it, it's good to be alive. So I'm a little tired, but I'm here. I'm ready to learn some stuff and meet some new people.
A fun and informative day at Grace United Methodist Church here in Kokomo. I always struggle with taking notes and things like this, and I found kind of a new method. So I've been getting into Instagram lately. So I started writing down my notes in little, almost like square-shaped type things. And so I created a new word for it. I don't know if this has been used before, but Instagrammaticized my notes. And I thought, this would be such a useful strategy for especially like high school or in college students right now. Like, I am so much more likely to go over these notes and sort of redecorate them. And within redecorating them, I'm going to probably take some snapshots of them, share them on Instagram, I would think, and on Snapchat. And so I'm going to absorb so much more of this stuff because it's interesting. It's visually interesting to me, and we know that that's one of the reasons that we spend so much time on Instagram is it's visually stimulating. We get to see our friends. And if we don't want to necessarily pay attention to what they've said, we can still be involved in their lives. So we may not read the description of the picture, or we might. So I really enjoyed this. It was fun, and it was fun because I felt like I was learning some stuff. And anytime I come up with a new solution to a problem. Because when I write down notes more like linear, I just don't, how often do you go back and review those things? I just don't do that. So, that was cool. Hey, I'm listening to some parts of Crushing It again, going back through several of the chapters towards the end. And this was one complaint I actually have with the Audible app so far. And correct me if I'm missing something, but it doesn't list the chapter names. So it's just chapter numbers. But he covers each one of the big platforms and gives you kind of an introduction to the platform, a 101 course on building your brand, and then a 201 course on building your brand. I really like that structure as an educator. But me and my developer were talking last night about branding this project, and I keep really coming back to, I think Philip Mott, my name, is the ultimate, is kind of that overarching brand, because I'm an ideas person. I do not like to call myself an entrepreneur because that's kind of a buzzword right now. But make no mistake about it, from the time I was probably going back to 10 years old, I wanted to be something pretty important. I wanted to play drums, then I wanted to play saxophone, and I wanted to play basketball. Then I wanted to go back to playing music. When I became an educator, I sort of wanted to be the important one. And my journey as a Christian has really helped me humble and take a step back from those, at least the me in those things, because I wanted all those things for me. But now that I'm in my relationship with Christ and understanding how I want to help people, now that dream is kind of coming back, but I feel like it's anointed. It's like I'm trying to live God's purpose in those dreams. So while there may be, a self-directed academy kind of website, there may be, I don't know, I'd love to sell, I'd like to create some coffee mugs and t-shirts with sayings on them that help people who are like me to sort of remind themselves of some of their values. I think those will all be parts of me, but ultimately what I'm really trying to capture is just me and my journey. This is day one of the rest of my life. Whatever has happened up until this point, it really doesn't matter anymore, because it's all in the past. And yeah, it matters in the sense of it's why I became who I became, but I still have choices to make today. One of the things you're going to see me doing on this channel is starting to focus more on unschooling and homeschooling from the networking side here in central Indiana. We have a pretty big homeschool scene. I think what I need to figure out is how many students are homeschooling. I'd love to be able to find out how many want to be homeschooling, and then who knows, maybe I could start providing some data about that for schools who want to be responsive to those students and start to offer some alternative approaches. Because homeschooling, one thing that it offers is like a self-paced thing. Even if you're doing what they call school at home, where you can go at your own pace, then a lot of times those kids can be done by like 11:30 in the morning, and then you can just go play. I know a good friend of ours, Esther Wollenhouse, that's how she describes her homeschooling experience, and she might actually be a really good one to talk to about that, because she grew up here locally, and she actually works in the nonprofit sector, so that could be a fun person to talk to. But hopefully you'll see me start to talk more about the local network and thinking about keywords of what people are looking for regarding education around these areas.